Okay, hi, Paul Sakis, Good News Planet. Well, ways to reduce stress in the classroom, the Oxford Method, a tutoring community, spotlights student stress and the ways to help reduce it. David Florence. Hi, David. How are you?
Good. Good afternoon to you.
Going to share the good news. The good news is that there are things that can be done to help reduce stress in the classroom. All right, I bet you some of those things can actually apply to your life in general.
This is true.
So tell us about your organization and this Oxford method of tutoring communities and
Sure.
spotlight students.
Well, we created the Oxford Method because we felt that several things. One is that teachers were underappreciated. So we focused on both the teacher and student, and we provide enough revenue for the instructor so they could actually have a life, which is important for instructors, as well as really connect with the students by creating what we call global villages to connect students and their families to other students around the world. So they can share ideas and concepts from gifted students to special needs students to traditional students. All of them have what we call global villages.
Is this new?
This is a new program. We started the program in November. We've been very excited about rolling it out. And we also have a sister company called Social Actualization, which provides free computers, free high-speed internet, and free instruction to underprivileged kids in urban and rural America. And 10% of our profits go to that organization.
How do they go? Oh, from the profits you make with your Oxford Method, some of that money goes towards giving back and giving students something to work with. Well,
Correct.
That's wonderful. How did this evolve? Is it a pandemic business that evolved based upon everybody not being where they used to be?
That's part of it. I've been a professor for about 7 or 8 years now, and I love working in the classroom and love to teach. And I found that during COVID, my other sources of income were just not there. So I was focusing on teaching more, and I found that there really was no organization that I could align with that would provide the quality of instruction and the camaraderie that I was looking for as an instructor. So I figured I'd create one, and so I have.
All right, congratulations.
Thank
Is that
you.
a real classroom behind you? What is that?
It's a simulated classroom. It's an image of one. It's similar to many of the lecture halls I teach at. So I thought I'd put that behind me.
And is there a certain age group we're talking about here?
Yes, from kindergarten to adult learner. So from 6 to 80 is our typical student.
All right, but I'm stressed because let's face it, a lot of people, when they get out of school, they say those were the greatest, some say that was the greatest days of your life. And then when you start to think about taking tests and about doing papers, you say that was the greatest stress I ever had in my life.
There are
School's not
combinations
easy,
of both.
right? School's not easy. We think we
It
had a lot
isn't.
of, we drank in college, we just goofed off. And meanwhile, how many, what do they call them? All-nighters that we pull?
Yes. All night at getting ready for exams. Well, whether you're a kindergartner or a graduate student, there are some levels of stress involved. And we think that there are many ways to cope with stress.
All right, what are
Things
some good ways to do that, my friend?
Simple things like getting enough sleep is a really great way of dealing with stress. Working with your family and having them encourage you to study and work with them. Engaging with your instructor so that they are not just a talking head, but a human being, and they understand your needs and wants as well. So whether you're in elementary school, secondary school, or tertiary school, connecting with an instructor is a key component. You can learn about them and why they became a teacher. They can learn about you, and it also helps reinforce the knowledge that you get in classroom. So I highly recommend, whether you're in a elementary school, high school, or college, or grad student, is to get to know your teacher and spend some time with them in a quality environment.
And how do we go about that? So somebody, I guess, pay some kind of fee to get the Oxford Method, and that is an individual kind of thing, or it's for the teacher, or the school system, or how do you make this?
Great question. We currently have over 100 instructors, 40% of which are PhDs, 40% of which have master's degrees, and 20% have bachelor's only. And we modulate our instruction based upon the need of the student or family. So if you need advanced work and want to work with one of our PhDs, we have one price point. Working with a master's level, another, and then a simple bachelor's degree, we charge less of that because the less instruction, less time taken by the instructor to learn. So we want to provide our value to our students by giving them different price points and different levels of quality of instructor.
So is this one-on-one?
It can be one-on-one. Typically, it's one-on-one. It's either in person, online, or in classroom. We do all three types of models.
In classroom, like one of your professors would go to Upper West Side here and go into one of the schools?
Well, we work with many schools and school districts to outsource their education so we can provide the classroom settings for universities as well as high schools. We think that there are many schools in urban and rural environments that don't have access to the level of instruction that our professors provide, our instructors provide. And therefore, a school in Wyoming, Nebraska, Alabama, or in the inner city can hire our firm, and we can provide that level of expertise for a lower cost than bringing in an instructor. And excuse me, well, I have to give a dog treat to my dog as she's excited about our interview.
And I'm excited about your feeding the dog during the interview. That shows you're a conscientious daddy.
Yes.
It's all good. Well, yeah, that's a very good point. The rural communities of the world, distance learning, I guess, going way back to some of those companies that got into that, maybe 20 years ago, they have, I believe, flourished over the years. And even, of course, this past year by far, but I would imagine. With this two-way communication, I could be sitting there and I don't know how much, we are able to get, nobody knows if anybody has anything underneath this part of our body, but
we're just literally a talking head.
Just talking heads.
We tend to find that education is better one-on-one in person. And then one-to-many in a classroom situation is more ideal. The Socratic Method, the actual integration, we're primates, we're social creatures. However, due to COVID, it is better to have online distance learning, or video-based learning is better than nothing at all. And so we feel it's a good way to augment. And so sometimes you need in person and sometimes online can add value. And we want to provide value to our students and to our instructors as well and their families. So we have all platforms.
If we just talk about today, is a stressful time, massively stressful. I personally don't even understand how we're sending kids back to school, but we are. And even when kids have the option to stay home, if everybody isn't taking that option at this point, now we're already in the end of April.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I think at home was all we had to choose between. Then we had these integrated kinds of programs, two days a week, and whatever everybody in their school systems thought would be the wisest thing to do. So, I'll even say, God willing, we get through all this and we get back into our regular structure. So your method, can this be utilized? So, say the programs we're back to school and in the normal way. However, Johnny doesn't really do that well in English, and Johnny's not really doing that well in, say, English Lit. Let's say maybe that's a high school class, or maybe early even college.
College or high school, yes.
And so, can Johnny utilize your service? Tell you, hey, mommy of Johnny says, my son's not doing well, and it just doesn't seem to be able to, approach the teacher or figure out a better way to learn. but here's what we're learning. We're reading XYZ. David, do you have a professor who can like, and is the word tutor wrong in this
We use,
scenario?
we actually, since we have so many high advanced degree students or instructors, we tend to use the word relationship-based learning in lieu of tutoring. We figure tutors are high school kids tutoring elementary school kids or college kids tutoring high school kids. So we use the term relationship-based learning in lieu of tutoring. It's a similar concept. But yes, we provide assessment for our students and their families, as well as engaging not only for the tactical and transactional aspect of learning English Lit, we also help build their self-esteem by teaching them how to think, how to learn, how to listen, how to write, and how to communicate. So there's basically both the aspects of the knowledge transfer for the subject matter, as well as building their ability to learn and gain knowledge and wisdom. So it's a two-faceted mechanism.
Were you a psychology teacher?
I, as a matter of fact, minored in psychology as an undergraduate. Yes.
Yeah, I think you majored in it. Because, it is words like relationship and words like actualization, or like Maslow said, self-actualization, and so on and so forth. These are very positive words, non-threatening words, and a different approach. It's a big difference from what I said to what you said. A tutor and a relationship. A tutor is you're having a test, and someone is checking you whether you can answer the questions right. A relationship is you're both having the test. And so I think you're picking good word. I'm sure your program mapped out more. We have a website for this?
Yes, the oxfordmethod.com is for our teaching, and then socialactualization.net is for our nonprofit organization.
Yeah, no, I'm sensing a lot of good things going on here.
Thank you.
How about you? Are you stressed from opening up a company that tries to get stress relief?
Well, I do teach entrepreneurial sciences as one of the classes I teach at the graduate and undergraduate level. So yes, there's typically stress involved in building a business up from scratch. However, there's such joy in connecting with our instructors. We have such fabulous instructors and great students, and really teaching. We like to use the expression, you can give a person a fish, they're set for a day. You teach them how to fish, they're set for a lifetime. And that's what we look at. And when you transfer knowledge and wisdom and teach people how to think critically, you can engage them in so many ways that they become a great citizen. And ideally, we want to create a world filled with wonderful citizens. So one of our taglines is we want to change the world one student at a time. We also say that education is the great equalizer, and it's the greatest gift you can give to the next generation. And then our official tagline for the Oxford Method is, we take education seriously, but have fun doing it.
And your good news is what?
Our good news is that there's opportunities for everyone to gain knowledge and wisdom and grow. The United States used to be #1 in social mobility. Right now, we're number 27. And we feel by providing computers and education and high-speed internet to underprivileged students, as well as quality education to those who can afford it, we can help everyone become a great student and a great citizen.
All right, David, thanks so much for sharing.
Very welcome. Have a great day.
Good job.